screen if you're connected on a computer. And if you're connected on a mobile device, it will probably appear at somewhere at the top of your screen. Once you've clicked on this button, you will see two options, English and Spanish. If you are an English speaker and you need interpretation, please click on the English option. This way, whenever somebody speaks in Spanish, you will automatically be able to hear the interpretation into English. And that's all you need to do. Please let me know right now if you have any questions. Por favor, déjenme saber en este momento si tienen preguntas. Gracias. Yo creo que podemos empezar. So I think we can begin.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much, Fiona. So we are going to, I just want to make a quick notes. We're all pretty familiar with remote meetings at this point. So I'm just going to ask everyone to check and make sure that their microphones are muted. As we work through the agenda, we're also going to ask everyone to keep their webcams turned off to avoid any kind of interruptions or distractions. And forgive me, and one more thing. We are also going to be launching poll questions throughout the event after each speaker. I think, if I'm not mistaken here, I think I have one going at the moment, asking about NMIs and DIs that have experience hosting or conducting remote audits. So if you guys can, respond to that, and I can quickly show the results, just to kind of get familiar with this function. And we'll do that, like I said, after each presenter finishes their remarks or their presentation. So looks like I'll go ahead and end the poll and share the results. So it looks pretty even split, close to an even split here. I think everyone can see that. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to have some opening remarks from Elizabeth Ferreira, who is the working group chair for metrology group working group 12. She's also she's the head of the chemical metrology department at LATU, and the delegate to the QSDF representing LATU as well. So I will hand the floor over to Elizabeth. Oh, Elizabeth, we need to unmute, please. Can we hear your?
Gracias. Thank you, Andrew. Bueno, buenos días a todos. Bienvenidos. Voy a compartir mi presentación, que es muy breve.
Presentation, which is a very brief one. The idea is not to speak about the reasons, because I think we're all aware of the reasons. But I'd like to give you an idea of how we're going to organize this. As you all know, in March of last year, because of the international situation, there were several impacts. The first impact was related to the agenda for meetings. We had a meeting programmed in Buenos Aires. And there are a lot of NMIs that were meeting had to meet a 5-year deadline, and so the first action that was taken was to seek the approval of the council for carrying out remote meetings. I'm afraid her sound isn't very good. And we had to send out a request for extending the deadline. And the First remote meetings were started.
Uno que se iba a encargar de la revisión de documentos ya existentes.
One for reviewing documents, or working groups were established for reviewing documents, for the preparation of the documents, guidance for remote assessments, and organization of the webinar guidelines for remote assessment. And this she's mentioning the names that were on these working groups. And this was sent for approval, and the document was approved. Called Guidelines for Performing and Conducting Remote Assessment within the SIM Regional Metrology Organization. So several meetings were held of the QSDF.
Que estaban pendientes en la reunión del mes de abril en Buenos Aires.
And there was to be, well, there was a meeting pending in Buenos Aires in April.
En el mes de enero, ¿sí? Se decidió que podía ser una muy buena acción preparar organizar este webinar para presentar.
So it was decided to organize this webinar to present to the whole community what the document consists of, and also information about those who had the opportunity to implement it, for them to share their experiences. So an organization committee was set up, including Andrew Korn, myself, Sally Bruce, Silvio Dos Santos, and Claudia Santo. And we have speakers, Christopher Cortés, Isabelle, Amen, and Fernando Kornblit. So that was my introduction. I apologize for her sound. It wasn't good enough for the interpretation, I'm afraid.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you to the interpreters. We apologize for the audio issues. Let's go ahead and we're going to move on to Christopher Cortez's presentation. Christopher is the QSDF Vice Chair and Quality Manager at LCM, and he'll be discussing the recently published guidance documents from the QSDF on conducting remote assessments and audits. Christopher, are you ready?
Yeah, Andrew, thank you.
Very good.
My screen is sharing, right?
That looks good. Yes.
Well, I will start to speak in Spanish for this presentation. Okay. Buenos días a todos.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today during this webinar that's been organized. As Elizabeth and Andrew explained at the beginning, the idea is to present specific elements related to how we developed this process and what the guide includes for performing and conducting remote assessments at the metrology institutes and designated institutes, so that you can have the opportunity, or you will have the opportunity, to ask questions. And I'd like to start by looking at the context, first of all. And so let's advance with this. A long time ago, for me, in fact, it's been over a year since we've been involved in the pandemic. This was our reality before. We used to have seminars, in-person events with everybody involved and participating, work meetings in different places on the planet, where we could all make our contributions and see each other physically and see the documentation physically. We can see here in the QSDF that they voted on issues during the meetings. And after these meetings, we would have an activity, more of a social activity, where we could network and share activities and talk about the recommendations about the quality systems of the national institutes of each of our countries. However, the time came when everything changed. Flights were cancelled, trips were cancelled. We were in lockdown in all cities, major cities over the world, and meeting rooms in our institutes and institutions became empty because of the pandemic, which is still ongoing and that we're still experiencing in each of our countries. So we all had to start to make decisions. And this decision, we could say that we can use the F word or the R word, the right decision or the wrong decision. And what did we choose? We chose the right decision, which consists of resilience, the capacity that we have, all human beings that is, to be able to overcome irregularities that emerge in order to overcome the different problems. And this resilience is related to a vision, purpose, goals, and congruence. And how this part will also have or require collaboration. And this collaboration could be in the social context or in the way that we manage perceptions.
Que en este momento estamos utilizando para ir a cada uno de ustedes y poder presentarles un poco la parte de cómo realizamos este proceso. La persistencia, ¿verdad? El optimismo, no dejando de lado la salud de cada uno de nosotros y sobre todo en estos momentos. Y una de las partes más importantes que tenemos que tomar en cuenta es la parte de resolver problemas. ¿Cómo vamos a resolver cada uno de los problemas que se nos presentan? La pandemia llega en un momento en que pues veíamos en algún momento que se iba acercando, pero no, al menos acá en Costa Rica, pues un 6 de marzo llega y tenemos el